Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I got a news story for you guys, but first I need you guys to go donate to my PayPal. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. Try to put it on the screen too. So you could donate to my show so I could do this full-time instead of just part-time. But the news, it came out a couple of days ago, but it's still important, and I just want to talk about how fucking shitty the Democrats are because they folded against the people again. They didn't do it not just once, but fucking twice. So unless you're a wealthy person or you're one of the oligarchs, one of the donors for the Democratic Party officials, you need to get the fuck out of that party and go vote Green or Independent or some other third party because these guys are fucking shit. I mean, they are fucking useless. These guys are more useless than the fucking TYT and Cenk Uygur. I mean, for real. Let's see, where do I want to start? I think I'm going to leave the worst for fucking last, because we really got to fucking break the Democratic Party, because all they're doing is marching us to more of the same shit we're not voting for, and what we're actually fighting against. We're against more wars, and they're drawing us and bringing us to more wars. We're against tax cuts, and what they're bringing us is fucking tax cuts. And more austerity types of legislation. We actually want a single-payer healthcare. What they're doing is just trying to obfuscate and try to just distract people so they don't have to talk about actually bringing us fucking single-payer healthcare. Or ending the drug wars. Or giving us free college education for everybody. Or giving us a student loan forgiveness for all those student loans that all those students borrow to get a good education. I'll start with the Huffington Post one. Even as 87% of the American people support Dreamers staying in the U.S., Democrats and Republicans continue to play political games with the lives of many young immigrants who have grown up here and contribute to the country we call home. This lack of leadership by Democrats, however, is nothing new. In 2009, they controlled the White House and Congress and still failed to bring up immigration reform for a vote. So it's not just that they failed DACA and most of the citizens of the United States with immigration reform right now, but they also failed to do this under Barack Obama's 2 terms in fucking office. As president, he could have pushed Congress to say, we're going to have meaningful immigration legislation passed because we need to make sure that a lot of the people that have been living here for decades as illegal immigrants, they need to be made citizens so they can actually contribute even more to the economy and make sure that we're not breaking up families just because of their status. This is a country of immigrants, and we're going to support immigrants. That's what we're fucking doing. Because it's not just a moral thing to do, but it's good fucking policy. Well, he's not going to say it's good policy, but it's good for the people. What's interesting about them doing this, this is another fucking short-term budget. The budget is only approved till March 23rd. So they're just doing another short-term spending measure. And it's got to be just for fucking theater now that they're doing this to just distract us from other just shitty policies that they're doing to undermine just the people by doing just either more tax cuts with just different bills or something like that. Because I mean, there's no good fucking reason for them to not just made just the regular yearly budget deal already. And then fucking Rand Paul, he actually shut down the government for like a couple hours or so because he delayed the legislation. And of course, he's being a fucking hypocrite because he voted for these tax cuts that Congress passed and the White House passed too. Just in December, so he wants to, I guess, just make a show about, oh, he's such a fucking libertarian and he's making sure that Congress is actually doing what they should do, which is actually being fiscally conservative or fiscally responsible, and not just increasing the spending. But of course, he's full of shit because he doesn't want to actually increase taxes to offset any tax cuts or anything like that. But the debt, I'll start right here. The deal includes new budgetary ceilings for 2 years that would increase spending on defense and non-defense programs. So of course, increasing spending on defense is just money in the fucking garbage. We don't need to fucking kill more people for profit. Or at least just the war profiteers will profit off of that. At least they're raising a debt ceiling, because that's kind of just gets on my nerves that they always bullshit and cry about, oh my gosh, you're raising a debt, that's such a terrible thing, we're just being so fiscally irresponsible. I mean, I just get so fucking tired of hearing them talk about they shouldn't raise the debt. But it does provide more than $89 billion in relief for a spate of recent hurricanes, wildfires, and other natural disasters. It should probably be more than that, but I haven't really looked at any articles recently that talked about how all these different natural disasters actually costed, $200 billion or something like that. But I'm just fairly certain that the Republicans are underfunding all the natural disaster relief. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just betting that's what they're doing. But this one right here, this was the Senate bill. Okay, in this article from The Hill that talks about other priorities, this one says it provides $90 billion for disaster relief, $6 billion to address the opioid crisis, so that's good. 4-year extension to the Children's Health Insurance Program, and more than $7 billion for community health centers. So adding money to those programs is pretty good. But still, in a macro sense, they're still not serving us because they're not funding the government for the whole year. And they're not protecting the DACA immigrants. They're not protecting, or they're not implementing net neutrality rules. And then fucking Donald Trump. Oh, and they're not implementing single-payer health care, which fucking President Trump did campaign on. So he needs to fucking give us single-payer health care, because that's what he said he wanted to do. Even though a lot of us didn't vote for him because we knew he was full of shit, he still said that's what he's going to do. So President Trump and the Republican Congress needs to give us single-payer fucking health care. And then here's a key thing that will show you that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is the fucking same thing. Because for The Intercept, their article, they're talking about how the Republicans just lowered taxes for the wealthy. And then they interviewed some Democratic senators on what they would do about getting rid of the tax bill that the Republicans just passed. And then they're talking about they're not going to do shit. Or they don't have any fucking plans. Because it's right here, not yet, replied Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, who served as his party's vice presidential nominee in 2016. But he's a fucking loser. He lost with fucking Hillary Clinton, so I don't know why they're asking him specifically. And then Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz did the same thing. Not yet. We don't have a plan. Because we're not going to do shit. Because our fucking donors told us we got to keep the tax plan just how it is right now. Or the tax laws how it is right now. They just got them fucking cut. And then here we go. Montana Senator John Tisser didn't have any specific ideas in mind. I'm going to skip a little bit down. He was, however, fairly pessimistic about any changes happening in the near future. There are a lot of things that could be changed in that, but I don't see any effort to do any of those things and concede it. I think we've got what we got for the next 30 years. He was already told by his fucking donors, don't change shit. We love this tax cut plan, or this tax cut bill. Don't do shit. This is what we're going to stick with. And if you don't stick with this, we're pulling our fucking money out. You're not going to be a senator any fucking more. So that's why all of them said the same damn thing. Not yet. We don't have any plans. No plans for any tax plans. And we take power. Because we have the same fucking donors as the Republicans do. They couldn't even say, well, when we get in power, we're going to bump them up so they're close to what they just were. We're not going to have it so they're just 2% lower than what the tax laws were just last year. They can't even say that. They got to say, we're going to just leave it how it fucking is right now. It's time for a revolution. The Democratic Party is not going to give you a revolution. They've proved it time and time again. Here's just one other quote that says, we're going to do the same thing the Republicans are doing.